Hey, are you having trouble doing the basic daily activities that make you feel human? Is arthritis creeping up on you in various parts of the body? Well, we're going to look at 6 stretches today that target the main hot spots that hit us as we age. We'll be using the wall, we'll be using a chair, and if you have a yoga strap, a belt, or a towel, you might want to get that handy for some of the shoulder stretches that we're going to be doing in a bit. While you're getting everything together, I want to thank everybody for watching Chitta Rupa Yoga. I'm Laura Wilson, a certified personal trainer, 200-hour certified yoga teacher with 18 years experience working with seniors. This channel is all about adapting exercise to meet the needs of our aging bodies. Here you'll find the modifications that you need to keep aging actively so that you can remain independent as long as possible. I post new videos every Monday, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified when they're ready. And hit that little thumbs up button below if you find these videos helpful. If you're ready to get started, we're going to work from the bottom to the top. All right? We're going to start with ankles, mainly our calves. As we age, it gets harder to lift our toes up, and we might trip over rugs or those little spots in doors because we can't get our toes up. If you're interested in some strengthening exercises, I've got some videos that you can check the links for below in the description. But working on getting the toes up is one thing, working the front of the calf. But if you take a class where there's lots of these, or you walk a lot, throw in some toe lifts, just a little bonus exercise there, throw in a little toe lift. But we want to work on stretching out this tight calf muscle. So we're going to use the wall for this. And we're going to start by just taking our toes to the wall, heel to the floor. And just start by allowing the leg to relax. All right, and as you can, begin to bring the knee and entire leg and body toward the wall, feeling that stretch to the back side of your calf. In order to increase flexibility, you want to hold this at least 30 seconds. We're probably not going to do it that long in this video, so if you want to pause, hold, and count for 30 seconds, go for it. But for the sake of brevity in this video, I'm only going to do about 20 seconds. And then switch to the other foot. Toes on the wall, heel down. Allow it to relax first. And bring it forward. Now, if you wanted to go yin yoga on me, you could hold this for 2 minutes. Pause the video once you get in position, and then time yourself for 2 minutes to really allow the muscle to relax, open, and lengthen. And if you do try that, let me know in the comments how it worked for you, what you thought of it. But for now, we'll go ahead and give that a break, shake them both out. The next one we're going to look at, we're going to move up to hips. Arthritis again, bursitis, sciatica, you name it. The first exercise we're going to do is my favorite, right here in the chair. I'm going to show you another option using the floor, but my favorite is the chair because of the leverage that you get. Now, one variation, depending on how tight it is and whether you can get your leg up here, first variation is to just cross at the ankle, let this knee open, and maybe bring the heart forward. But for the biggest bang for your buck, if you can get your foot ankle right up here, go for it, allowing this knee to settle down. And again, you can pause and hold for 30 seconds or more, 2 minutes if you want to do it yin style, 2 to 4 minutes, and add a little forward fold here where you're going to feel a stretch to that outer hip. You can do these stretches any time of day, in any kind of clothing. As you see, I'm wearing regular clothes today. So let's switch. We're going to go here, allowing that knee to relax, hinging forward, bringing our heart forward. Or if you can get here, take it here. And again, just start by allowing the leg to relax right here. Get that hip to release because it likes to hold on to that tension. Hinging forward when you're ready. If you're ready, you don't have to go that far. Breathing deeply, that's what we want to do, breathe. All right, now I'm just going to show a variation. For those of you who can get down on the floor, you can actually do this on the floor. And I'm just going to show it briefly on the one side. You can take it here, cross like the figure 4, we call this figure 4, and then bend your legs and take it right here. And again, you can hold it, take it to both sides, hold it for that 30 seconds or maybe 2 minutes if you're feeling it, if you've got the time. Sometimes we do. And let's go ahead and release from there. So if you can get on the floor, you want to do it there, you can. But like I said, the chair gives you all the leverage you need without having to get on the floor and then get back up. The next one I'm going to move on to is for the lower back, because we can get arthritis and issues there, especially if we do have the hip issues. I'm going to demonstrate this one side on the wall, one side of the chair. You can use either way that you want. Some variations, depending on your stability, standing with our feet hip distance. I like to use the wall because it gives me more leverage. As you see, I'm already kind of in a side bend here. I'm going to take this one arm up and reach it over, maybe even touching the wall. Leveraging and pushing out a little bit to get the hips to push away and this over. Now, if we want to target a little deeper, we can cross this leg over. And I often like to step it back. I tell people it's like you're going to do a curtsy. Step back like you're going to do a curtsy and just leave your feet the way they are. This gets a lot more opening across this part of the hip, adds a little twist, gets into those glutes that we're targeting as well. But we want to get as much space between the lower rib and our hip as we can. And that's why I like using the wall. As you see, this arm is bent, allowing me to come in, but I can also push and push that hip out a little bit. Make sure to breathe. You're scrunching on this side, so breathe into the lung on the other side. And let's bring that back up, and again, pause and hold this longer. If any of these stretches are working for you, pause and hold for longer. We're going to start that hip distance again on this side, this time leveraging with the chair this way. Same thing, we can bend into it more, we can push out more. If we're feeling it, we can even cross our foot in front and go there, or take it to that curtsy variation, but don't do the curtsy. And again, leverage on the chair, pushing that hip out, breathing as best we can, breathing into the top of our lungs and into that open, the lung on that open side. So hopefully this will help with your lower back, some of that hip as well, kind of tying those muscles together because that's what they do. We're going to move on to shoulders. And for this one, if you've got a towel, you can use a towel for this one, a belt or a strap. What we're going to do is we're just going to hold on to whatever it is right here at shoulder distance. And we're just going to get some tension on it. We're not pulling or anything, and we're just going to take it up. And some people are only going to make it up this high. Some of us make it this high. Some people can actually go a little behind their head. Just find your personal range of motion and hold. Continuing to keep that tension on the device that you're using, the towel, the strap, the belt. And you can actually take this through a set of exercises if you want, just to work on being able to reach up. I know you've got that jar of cookies up there on the shelf. Yeah, I know you want to get them, or you want to hide them from somebody else, like when the grandkids come over, keep them out of them. So let's do this one more time. And again, you can pause and hold. Release from here. All right, so this next one's going to get a little bit tricky. If you've got a belt or a strap, you can loop your belt through. If you've got a towel, I'll show you a different way to do this in just a second. But we're going to pull this through. One thing about it, our shoulders tend to get really tight as we age. And if you do this one little exercise I can show you, you can kind of figure out where you're tight. It's the one where we reach around with one hand and then the other. Now sometimes fingers can touch, but then on the other side, they're just not going to touch. So this is the side I really need to work on and where this exercise is going to come in. But I'm going to do the other side first because it's less painful. So we're going to loop the belt like this around behind us. All right, so we got this one behind us here and this over the opposite shoulder. And then you can just work on this on your own. Be very gentle and careful with yourself. And just pull here, all right? And again, what we want to do is we want to allow the muscles across the shoulder here to relax. And then maybe we can pull it a little more. If you're holding this for 2 minutes, 30 seconds or more, doing that extra little lift can help. I also, this is a bonus, can drop the shoulder away, getting more space there, turning the head away. Just some variations to look at. If you try any of them, let me know if they made things better for you. Be very careful here. I'm just gonna slide this over here, slipping this arm in. Now this is the one that's really gonna show me what we're made of, what I'm made of. All right, so just doing the other arm, just getting into a position there where I can feel the stretch. This one, sometimes one shoulder isn't gonna take as much to feel that stretch. And again, we can add, oh my goodness. And you can tell in your neck too, not just the shoulder, but the neck. Oh yeah. So again, hit the pause, hold that longer. If you do not have a belt or strap with you right now, what you can do is just take your towel and do basically the same thing. And you can also do it this way with your belt. Okay, don't know what I did here. Okay, so what you can do is just take your belt or a towel over your shoulder like this and just reach around and grab it and just hold it and do the same thing. This might be a friendlier version if you're not comfortable having the strap around your wrist. Same thing, you'll just switch sides, reach back, grab it, and just leverage where it feels right. So same thing, but you're holding it instead of looping it around like a bracelet. All right, so when you've had enough of that, we're gonna move on to our 6th and final stretch for the day. This one is for those fingers. We still need to write, type, cut with our scissors. Fingers tend to get hit. So what we're gonna do is stretch out each of our fingers. We're gonna start with the hands in whole, putting them together like this with a little space between our fingers. And just start by keeping the heel of the palms together, pressing down. And again, holding this for a few seconds. I like to flip it upside down sometimes too, just to get a little variation in there. But we're gonna focus on the fingers. So what we can do is lower down and then begin to take the heels of the palms away from each other. And then you can roll toward the pinkies, ring finger, middle finger, index finger to get a little deeper stretch. And just kind of take that back and forth there. And then I like to take it to the thumbs here. And then just give them a little wiggle. So again, pause, hold that for 30 seconds. You can roll over to this side and maybe hold for 10, go to the next finger, hold for 10, next finger, hold for 10, that finger, hold for 10. And that way you get about 50 seconds of this stretch. But just let it go, shake them out, and just kind of check in. Let's see how our body's feeling from foot to fingers. How are we feeling any more stretched out? Let me know in the comments if you do, and if there was a particular stretch that really spoke to you the most. Also, you can let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you want to work on stretching out in a future video. Really helps me out if you let me know what you want to see, okay? Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so that you'll know when the new videos come out. Ask your friends to subscribe. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything. And remember, hit that thumbs up button if you find this video valuable. If you want to see more work on stretching out various parts of your body, there should be a link here on the screen at this moment. So go ahead and hit that, and I'll see you next time.